Hi there, this is Dave Dubeau with Canadian Profits. I've got a lot of running around to do today, so why don't you come along with me for a ride in the good old BC Rent to Buy yellow FJ Cruiser, and we'll do this week's episode of Canadian Profits TV. Come on. All right, so welcome on the road with us, and pretty active weekend, I tell you. We just wrapped up, excuse me, the amazing 6-hour book method on Saturday and Sunday. That was a lot of fun. Did a parachute jump. That was scary as hell, to be honest with you. A little windy, almost clipped the fence, but we made her. Good old man Wagner over here. He landed flat on his butt, but he's doing all right. Had our webinar on Tuesday night, the ABCs of rent-to-own real estate investing. That went very, very well as well. If you'd like to see a replay of that, check it out at CanadianProfitsWebinar.com. So again, we're taking a little road trip here. So today for our business breakthroughs, we're going to talk about the power of paper and ink newsletters for your business. I'll show you an example of the one that we do for our rent-to-own business here in Kamloops. Speaking of rent-to-own, we're actually going to go take a quick look at one of our sandwich lease deals. It's one of our smallest deals, but it's a fun one, and it shows you what is possible and how you can get started with very little money or credit in the rent-to-own real estate business. And then for our Mindset Minute, we'll wrap things up talking a little bit about Jack Layton. So stay tuned. All right, so for today's business breakthrough, I want to talk to you about the power of paper and ink newsletters. So again, the last few weeks we've been talking about that and how you should be communicating more regularly and more effectively with your current and past customers as well as your prospective customers. So with our rent-to-own company, BC Rent to Buy, we send out a monthly newsletter to all of our prospective clients, or what we call tenant buyers. And it's a little newsletter called In Touch. Just a very simple black and white 4-page newsletter, which we can fold up and send out like this as what's called a self-mailer. So it all folds up and it's a self-mailer. So what do we do this for? Well, for multiple reasons. First of all, we want to stay on top of our prospects' minds. So if they're thinking about getting involved in a deal, they're going to think about us before they contact our competitors. They're going to have something handy, a handy reference from us that's easy for them to pick up and look at, visit our website, or give us a call. So that's the first reason. The second reason is to feature success stories of our current clients so that our prospective clients can see that this is real, that it's legitimate, that it's working, that we've got happy, smiling people as clients working with us. So that's another big thing. So a few tips about newsletters. It doesn't have to be big, doesn't have to be fancy. This is black and white. Just black print on white paper. Make sure you don't have too much information in your newsletter. Now that's kind of counterintuitive. You think that you'd want to have as much information as possible, but you really don't. You want to have it about 40% information about your business, what you do, that sort of thing, and 60% warm, fuzzy stuff and fun stuff. So in our newsletter, we've got jokes, we've got recipes, we've got cartoons, we've got mazes, Sudoku puzzles, that sort of thing. And only about 40% of it really talks about who we are and what we do. Why do we want to do that? Because the more fun and readable your newsletter is, the more it's going to get used, the more it's going to get read, and the more effective it's going to be. Because if they read it, they're going to read that stuff that you want them to read, the information about your company. But they're going to be actually reading it more for the fun stuff that's in addition to that. So there are some real good hints on using newsletters in your business. All right, so for today's real estate tips, I want to talk to you about, get a little bit more depth in sandwich leases, which we talked about last week. So actually right now, we're in a small mobile home in a mobile home park here in Kamloops. Now you might be saying, hey Dave, I think I heard you sometimes say, you never touch a mobile home with a 10-foot pole for rent-to-own deals. Well, that's true with client first rent-to-own deals where I'm actually buying the place for a client and putting a client in there. But for sandwich leases, it's completely different. I am willing to look at doing modular homes, mobile homes in mobile home parks for sandwich leases. Why? Because I'm at very, very little risk. So for example, this is a single wide mobile home in this mobile home park. Basically the nutshell of the deal, and hopefully Wagner can put some of the numbers on the screen as well, is that we're getting involved with this. We're renting it out from the owner for $975 per month. And that includes our pad fee, his mortgage payments, the utilities, the property taxes, all that stuff. That's included in the $975. We're turning around and we're going to rent to own it to our client for $1,300 a month. So that's a $325 a month spread between what I'm paying and what's coming in. So that's $375 in positive cash flow every month from this property. Now, this is a much smaller, much lower cost property than most of the rest of the ones that we work with. So I think we're actually getting involved in this deal for $62,000. I think the average home price in Kamloops is close to $300,000. So this is a very small deal compared to the average price of a house in Kamloops. However, with $325 a month positive cash flow and the fact that we're going to sell this to our client at the end of 2 years for close to $70,000, our actual total profit on this deal between monthly cash flow, the initial deposit that our client has paid to us, which is $3,000, and what we're going to get at the end, the total profit is going to be very close to $13,000. Now, $13,000 compared to the $47,000 that we make on other deals and $30,000 that we make on other deals isn't that much. However, what the heck? I mean, if you think about it, how much risk are we at? Not very much. The way I've structured this deal, I'm only renting it from the owner for 3-month periods at a time. So it's a 3-month lease with my right to renew for 6 or 8, I can't remember, 6 or 9 more 3-month periods for a total of 2 or 3 years. And I've already received a $3,000 non-refundable deposit from my client. So worst case scenario, I'm still ahead of the game, right? And we're getting $325 a month positive cash flow from a property I don't own. I didn't have to come up with any cash. I didn't have to come up with any investors. So that's a very, very good return on my investment. In fact, what is that? That's called an infinite return on my investment. So this might be a very small deal, but I wanted to show it to you because sometimes if you just show the big deals, people think, well, there's no way I could do that. But anybody can go out and do a little sandwich lease deal on a mobile home. There's no problem with that. And I just wanted to show you this to prove that you can do it as well. So again, if you're interested in rent-to-own real estate investing, check out the replay of the webinar we just did, all about that, the ABCs of rent-to-own real estate investing. You can see the replay at CanadianProfitsWebinar.com. Check it out. All right, to wrap up this week's episode of Canadian Profits TV with our Mindset Minute, I want to talk a little bit about the recently deceased Canadian politician, Jack Layton. So I don't agree with Jack's politics. I am a born and bred capitalist. So the NDP politics is not my cup of tea. However, I strongly, strongly admire the man that Jack Layton was. I mean, he's a class act. He was passionate about his cause. He was a hard worker, and he genuinely believed in what he was doing. So when you have that kind of passion, when you can't put that kind of effort behind your career, it's very, very hard not to succeed. And you can see what happened with Jack. At the end of his career, he was able to take the NDP to a pinnacle that had never been at before, an amazing feat. And he was a complete class act right up to when he passed away. Taking time on your deathbed to actually dictate a letter to have read out to the entire country is an amazing thing. So we're going to miss you, Jack. Might not have agreed with your politics, but definitely thought you were a class act. Take care. All right, so check out some of these fun videos and clips of this crazy skydiving that we did last weekend. Hope you enjoy them. Stay tuned next week for next week's episode of Canadian Profits TV, where we'll be getting involved in, for business breakthroughs, we'll be talking about electronic newsletters for everybody who doesn't want to do or cannot do paper and ink newsletters. For our real estate tips, we're going to be talking about client first, rent to own, that method of doing rent to own real estate investing, and we'll have a great mindset minute for you as well. Take care. Talk to you next week. All right, so here we are in the Kamloops Airport, and we're getting ready to do our first solo parachute drop. So a little nervous, but Wagner already did it. He proved he can do it.
Crazy.
That's right.
Hi Matt,
Hello.
how are you feeling right now?
Well, if you're watching this, it's clear that I survived my first parachute jump.
Woohoo!
I'm pretty sure that's going to be my last one too.
Get a close-up of the vein in the side of his head right here.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
still pulsing, I think.
Wow! But you rock, man.
Thanks, buddy.
Okay, see you.